Hey guys, so I'm just in the middle of making this week's video and I have realized I have lost my phone, and I very rarely do that. But I think it's inside the car because I was working inside the car before. Or have I left it on top of the car? Yes, okay, perfect. Now I can get back to work.
Hello? Hey, where are you going? Yes, it's me, the car.
What?
I'm talking to you. I know. This is so cool.
How?
Right. So are you ready for today's video? Because as you may have already guessed, it is going to be a really good one. So sit down and make yourself comfortable. Because you are not going to believe what you are about to see.
Okay. Please tell me you guys heard that because my car was just talking to me. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hello and welcome to the channel, and I hope you like today's video. If you like car technology content, then hit that subscribe button because that's what you're going to see on this channel. Okay, today's video is definitely going to be something completely different to what you have ever seen on this channel before. And you probably guessed that from the intro and the video's title, including this car siren that's sitting on the top of my dashboard here. So yes, today I am going to be making my car talk. And guess what? By using this product in today's video, you will also be able to do the same thing to your car as well. That is, if that is something you would want to do to your car, of course. A talking car may have mixed feelings amongst some of you because I honestly don't think it's something that everyone would want to do. But using this product, you're actually able to do a lot more than just what you're going to see me using it for in this video. Now, to achieve the goal of being able to make my car talk, I'm going to be using this. Yes, it looks just like a car siren, and well, it kind of is, but it's also not either. It's actually more of a speaker. But anyway, let's just call it a car siren because that's what it still looks like anyway. Now, you know what? I can very confidently say to every single one of you right now that this is definitely the most intelligent car siren that any of you will have ever seen before. In fact, you're not going to believe just how intelligent this car siren really is. Now, some of you, I'm sure, will be sitting there thinking, but what on earth do you need a talking car for? And well, to be honest, that is a really good question. However, because I personally am, well, I suppose a nerd would be the best term to use. And of course, I love cars, and obviously I love car tech as well. Then I think today's video matches my individual and geeky personality perfectly. While at the same time, I do feel this is also a great way to review a product like this as well. I like my car to be completely different from anyone else's car, as a lot of the long-term followers of this channel will already know. And after today's video, I think I will achieve that goal without any problems whatsoever. Now, I'll be honest, this is not the first time I have made one of my cars talk, but it is the first time I have made my Alfa Romeo talk, and it is also the first time I have done anything like this on the channel before as well. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to start off with explaining to you what this actually is first, apart from what you already know, which is it's an unbelievably cool looking device that we have all decided to just call a car siren, even if that's not the best name to call it. Now, yes, even though this just looks like a standard and maybe to some a boring looking car alarm siren, believe me, it's not. It's the complete opposite of that. And that's because this is in fact a programmable intelligent car siren. The Flyron-Tech FNA 501 programmable intelligent car siren to be exact. And yes, that's right, I did say programmable. And that of course means you are able to make the siren do basically anything your imagination can think of. Yes, it's actually that cool. This includes everything from playing music to even talking, like you're going to be seeing in today's video. So what am I personally going to be using this for exactly? Well, I'm going to be interfacing it with my car alarm security system so that every time I lock and unlock my car using my smartphone, it's going to talk. I'm sure it's going to probably draw a lot more attention than I would want as well from places like public car parks and the likes of. I might even gain some more subscribers from it though. It's also quite possible that I will now be the only person in New Zealand, or maybe even in Australasia, that will have a talking car. But that's alright, there is nothing wrong with being different. Anyway, so this intelligent car siren has been designed to work with any 12 to 24 volt power supply. One that can also supply a current rating of 2 amps as well though. So you can easily use it on cars, trucks, motorcycles, campers, RVs. I personally think it may also work quite well for use with an ice cream truck or even a police car as well, if you own one. Now, there's actually two versions of this particular car siren available, and they both have a total of 6 channel inputs as well. And also, depending on the application you're going to be using it for, you can also choose between a positive triggered or negative triggered version as well. This one here is actually a 6 channel positive triggered version, which I accidentally ordered. I really wanted the negative triggered version, so instead I've actually had to modify this one a little bit to make it work for what I need it to. Because unfortunately the input trigger polarity is not changeable. In saying that, however, that's about the only thing that you can't actually change and customize with this device. It's seriously so cool what you can actually do with this programmable car siren, as you're going to see. Now, I have said this device has 6 channels, but what exactly do I mean by that? Well, basically it means I can program this car siren to individually say 6 different things, because there are actually 6 individual trigger inputs, which, yes, is unbelievably cool. But no, that's also not what I will be doing with it, with my car in today's video, because for my car alarm setup, I only need to use one of this device's channels. But don't worry, I'm still going to give you an example of all 6 channels in use, so you can see exactly how that does work. Now, the sound level, which is rated at 110 decibels and 15 watts, is not only loud, which, yes, for a device like this, it does need to be, but the sound quality of it is also extremely good as well. And what helps with that is the siren's solid speaker magnet design. It does also actually have a built-in 15-watt amplifier as well, which is also a really big help. The actual volume level is also adjustable both manually using a potentiometer inside the device on the main internal circuit board, but it can also be adjusted slightly through software control as well. Now, as for the audio format that this device can support, it strictly supports the MP3 audio format only. So anything that you want the siren to emit must be in the MP3 format, not WAV or AFF or any of the other audio formats. There is a MP3 controller board inside the device that handles this side of the device's functionality. Now, this siren, as you can see, unlike most car alarm sirens that only generally have 2 or 3 wires, it actually has a total of 8 wires. The negative triggered version has 1 extra wire as well, making it 9. The 8 wires of the positive triggered siren are simply positive and negative, red and black, these wires here, and of course the 6 channel input trigger wires as well, which is what these are. Of course, not all 6 channels need to be used. However, when programming the siren, it is important that you set it up for all 6 channels, even if you won't be using them all. The software requirements still need it to be set up this way, as if you are. Now, as for how do the MP3 files get stored onto the actual device, well, you have 2 options, and this will also depend on the size of the MP3 files that you're using as well. The first option is to store the MP3 files onto the device's internal flash memory, which is a total size of 4 megabytes, and this can be done by using your PC and a USB cable. If you're just going to be using speech files like me, then this will probably be more than enough memory needed. If not, then you'll need to resort to option 2, which is using an external SD flash memory card like this. This device will support SD memory cards up to a maximum size of 32 gigabytes. Now, looking at the siren, you're probably thinking, but where do you insert a SD memory card into? Or where is the USB port? Because looking at this device up close, there are certainly no signs of any memory card slot, nor is there any sign of any USB port either. Well, remember, this is a car siren, so just like all other car sirens, which are waterproof, this one needs to be as well. And it is, and it's rated at IP65. So then, how do you program the MP3 files to the device? Well, you actually need to dismantle the siren to do it. It will then give you access to the internal circuit board. Don't worry, because this is very easy to dismantle, as there's only 3 Phillips screws to remove. 1, 2, and then another one inside the device, securing the actual internal circuit board itself. Now, when you remove the back cover of the siren, this is the internal circuit board that you will find inside. I'll just give you a closer look at that. So yes, now things are going to be making a lot more sense to you as well. So here is the onboard SD memory card slot. So you copy your MP3 files to a SD memory card and simply just insert it into here. And then next to that here is the micro USB port. And yes, this is what you use to copy your MP3 files to the internal 4 megabytes of flash memory. And your PC and a micro USB cable is all you need to do it. But of course, this method also does not eliminate the need to dismantle the siren altogether. That is of course unavoidable. And by the way, this little blue potentiometer here is what you can use to manually adjust the volume. For me and my use, this is not a problem anyway, having to dismantle the siren, because once the siren is programmed and set up, I'm not going to be having to open up the siren ever again anyway. And this should be the same case for everyone else as well. Now, I personally don't really need this SD memory card, no, but I still prefer to use it anyway. Actually, in this video demonstration, I will only be using approximately 350 kilobytes of memory. So the internal 4 megabytes of flash memory will be more than enough. But I personally like having a removable backup as well. So that's why I still choose to use the SD memory card. So to set up this device, all you need to do is copy your MP3 files to the device, and that's all. Actually, no, it does get a bit more complex than that, so let me explain. So you see, this car siren actually has a number of different trigger setting modes as well. There are actually 7 trigger modes and 5 assistant trigger modes, to be exact. And yes, I said 7 trigger modes, not 7 trigger inputs. There's still only 6 of those. I'm not really going to go into the trigger mode settings in any depth, as it's all clearly stated in the instruction manual. But basically, these trigger setting modes are what you use to control how the siren inputs will work. So for example, you can individually program each trigger input as a pulse trigger, a momentary trigger, a loop trigger, and so on. But for the siren to understand how you want this to work, you will also need to create and write your own configuration file as well. But don't worry, this is really easy to do. It's really, really easy actually. And no computer programming experience is required whatsoever. So now to make this as simple as possible to understand, I'm going to now start from the very beginning again. So when you purchase this programmable intelligent car siren, what are the steps to set it up? Now the first thing I would recommend is to buy yourself an SD memory card. And you will also need an SD card reader writer as well, like this orange dongle here. So you insert your SD memory card into the reader, and then you insert this into your PC USB port, as I will do now. Like that. And once you've done that, as you can see, it's now detected as a new drive. So if you haven't used it before, you'll then need to right click on it, and you'll need to come down to format. And you can just format that as a FAT32 partition. I've already done that, so I don't need to do that again. Now the next thing you will need to do is create your 6 MP3 files. As I said before, even if you're not going to be using all 6 trigger inputs of the siren, it doesn't matter. The configuration file you are going to create must still be set up for all 6 trigger inputs anyway. So that still requires you to have 6 MP3 files as well. If you are only going to be using one input MP3 file, like me, well, you can just create one MP3 file and just make another 5 copies of the exact same file, now giving you the required total of 6 MP3 files. Now you do need to name these files with a specific file name as well, and no, that is not the name that you're supposed to name them. And they also need to be in a specific and correct order on the memory card as well when you copy them to it, which by default should be in the correct order. But if they're not, then you have made a spelling mistake somewhere, so you will need to recheck the spelling of each file name before proceeding any further. Now, depending on the final result that you are wanting to expect from this programmable intelligent car siren, meaning what you want to actually do with it, then there are of course a lot of ways you can create your MP3 files. If you just want to use your siren to talk, like I'm going to be doing, then you could, for example, use an online speech generator, such as this website here called ttsmp3.com. Unfortunately, you will have a few ads to deal with when you're using it, but aside from that, it's pretty much free to use. So anyway, let's go back to the MP3 files, which I have now created using that website. So I've downloaded them, And as I said before, they need to be specifically named as well. So if they're not, this is not going to work because your configuration file won't understand what to do with them. And these are the names you see now that you need to name them. So that is 001.mp3 all the way through to 006.mp3. And of course, they must be in the correct order that you want them to be executed as well. So for example, if I had an mp3 file that said hello, and that's the first thing I wanted the siren to say before anything else, then my hello mp3 file must be named as the first file. So that would be 001.mp3. Okay, so now I just need to copy the mp3 files to my SD memory card, or of course I could just copy them to the internal 4MB flash memory of the device using the micro USB cable instead. By the way, I'm just using Windows 11 Pro 64-bit here, and yes, this operating system works perfectly fine if you want to use this method of copying them directly to the internal flash of the device itself. When you plug the siren controller board into your PC using a USB cable, it will again just be detected as a new drive in the same way that it was with the SD memory card as well. No, you don't need to download and install any drivers to make this work. It's all just plug and play. Okay, so now I need to create a configuration file in a text editor. So I'm just going to use the Windows Notepad. This is a bit more complex to describe, but to keep it simple, I just want my siren to be pulse triggered. So as I said before, there are 7 main trigger mode settings. They are in the instruction manual on page number 4, as you can see right there. Now, trigger mode number 2, as hopefully you can see clearly on camera, is what I need because that is the setting which is named pulse non-interruptible. What this means is I can trigger my siren with a pulse. So for example, just pressing a button one time and then letting go of the button again. Or in my case, locking my car with my smartphone will also work because the car alarm's output provides a pulse triggered output. So to make this work is really easy because all I need to do is set each input trigger to the value of 2. So for example, let's open up the configuration file that I've been working on, which is right here. So as you can see, it's just one short line that says 222, 222. So there are 6 number 2s, and that is 1 number 2 for each channel input trigger. And believe it or not, that's it. That is the configuration file completed. There is nothing else to do except for now save the text file. However, the name you call this text file is also extremely important. And that name must be read, R-E-A-D, followed by the extension .txt. So yes, read.txt, read.txt is the file name you need to use. By the way, the text file must be in the .txt format, yes. So don't use a document editor such as Adobe or Word, as those applications will save the file with a different file name extension. Also, you can get a lot more tech, by the way, with the configuration file and the setup, but I'm not going to explain all of that in this video. It's to make this as easy as possible for everyone to understand. I'm just keeping it as simple as I can. So now the configuration file is complete. So now I need to copy the configuration file to the SD memory card as well with the MP3 files. Now let's go back to the file again, which is right there. Now, if you're using the internal 4 megabytes of flash, the configuration file is sometimes not needed at all, but it is when you're using an SD memory card. And again, please remember that it is extremely important that your MP3 files are saved and displayed in the correct order on the SD memory card, like they are here, for this to work. If they're not, this is not going to work. So that's 001.mp3 to 006.mp3. And that's it. The siren is now programmed and ready to use. And by the way, the configuration file just goes anywhere on the SD memory card. So there is no specific order for that. It does not need to be before the files or anything like that. So as you see on screen right now, that is the perfect setup. Now the first thing I'm going to demonstrate is each of the 6 individual channels, wires of the siren. So when I touch the coloured wire to the positive terminal of my car battery, which I have this wire here connected to, so I'm just going to touch each wire with this terminal, the siren will speak and pronounce the colour of the wire for you. And by the way, yes, touching the input trigger wire to my car's positive battery terminal is a perfectly fine way to simulate and test this out. It's basically the same thing as pressing a switch anyway. But remember, this siren is the positive triggered version. So if you purchase the negative triggered version, then of course they would all be negative input triggers. So you would definitely not want to touch the wires to the positive terminal of your car battery if you bought the negative version. So anyway, to test the siren out, I also need to put the red wire of the siren to positive 12 volts and the black wire to ground, which again I've done just using some jumper leads. This will of course provide a power supply for the siren. The siren always needs to be powered up at all times. So now let's see what happens when each wire is individually triggered.
You connected the white wire. You connected the brown wire. You connected the orange wire. You connected the blue wire. You connected the green wire. You connected the yellow wire.
Okay, so as you can see, that's how this intelligent car siren works. It's pretty clever, right? Anyway, that's not what I personally want my siren to do for my application of use. So now it's time to dismantle the siren again, reprogram it so it can work with my car alarm system. Of course, then I also need to mount the siren and connect it to my car alarm as well, so everything will work just as I had planned. I'm not actually going to demonstrate how I do this, as it is a much more complex job to do, plus my car alarm has been hacked so much that even if I tried to describe how I've done it anyway, it wouldn't make much sense to you. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to demonstrate it working for you, and that's exactly what you're going to see next. Okay, now I have not mounted the siren yet because I just want to test this out first. I have reprogrammed the siren though and wired it up to my car alarm system so it can now be triggered when I lock and unlock my car using my smartphone. So let's see what happens when I lock my car using my smartphone.
Car security. Status is confirmed.
Okay, that was quite cool and successful. Now because I am only using one channel, it means when I lock and unlock the car, the phrase it says will be the same thing, and that's what I want. Yes, I could have used two channels and made it say car locked and car unlocked, but that would not be a great idea in regards to the security of my car, in my opinion anyway. I have done that setup with previous cars in the past, but this time I don't want it to say that and announce to the entire street when the car is locked or unlocked, as it's not a great idea. I want it to be more secretive than that, as you don't really want people to know if your car is locked or unlocked. By the way, just in case it's not clear to hear on camera, which it should be, my car siren is saying car security status is confirmed. So when I lock the car, this message tells me that the car is either locked or unlocked, but I'm the only person that knows what that means. Well, me and all of you as well watching this video. Anyway, so now I'm going to unlock the car with my phone, and the same thing should happen again.
Car security. Status is confirmed.
Okay, that works great. Now I'm sure this demonstration you have just seen is probably not going to be what everyone would want to use this intelligent car siren for, but it is what I want to use it for. And it has also now definitely personalized my car even more than before as well. And so my goal has now been achieved. I wanted my car to be different, and you definitely don't see this type of thing every day, that's for sure. So now it is safe to say that it is definitely a different car. Anyway guys, that is how this programmable intelligent car siren works. So what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below, because I am interested in your opinions as well. So I'm just going to finish off mounting the siren. I'm going to put it just in front of the battery there, as there's not really anywhere else to put it on this car, to be honest. The firewall, there's not enough room for the size of the siren to get between the engine cover and there. So yeah, I think just in front of the battery there is going to be the best place for it. Now, apart from this device itself, which I think is super cool, my favorite thing about this video is how it has given me the opportunity to show you another car tech device that you haven't seen on this channel before. And believe me, that's not an easy thing to do as a car tech reviewer. Now, believe it or not, there are actually a few different types of these intelligent car sirens available online now from various places, and they're all different prices as well. This programmable intelligent car siren here you are seeing in this video is just one example, and it's also one that at the time of this review is going to cost you approximately 70 New Zealand dollars, which in my opinion is a really good price for what you get. Now, as I've already said, there are a lot of other different types of vehicles you could use this with as well. And you could also use it for non-automotive projects too. For example, you could use it in a business and set it up on a desk to accomplish several different tasks. So set up one channel trigger as a talking service bell, then use another channel trigger for a staff lunch break announcement, etc. You could also connect it to a wireless doorbell, so when people walk in and out of your door, it greets them. Let's be honest, this programmable intelligent car siren could be used for absolutely anything. And if you're using it with a car, then what I'm using it for is just one example what you could use it to do. And it's a really simple one as well to implement, if you know how a car alarm works, of course. Anyway guys, that is now the end of another video, and thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in purchasing one of these programmable intelligent car sirens for yourself, I have put a link in the description area below for you. If you liked this video or found it helpful, then please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel, where you can watch even more car tech videos, and I hope to see you all in the next video.